this was most certainly worth the wait. So, I am a fan of Granblue fantasy in general. This game does not disappoint. I don't think it's for everyone. You kinda have to know what you're getting into. Unless you're familiar with the original game, you're not gonna understand much. And there's a lot of things that the game doesn't explain that you're just supposed to know. It's kind of a 3D version of the app, and I think it succeeds really well in that regard. It's not too heavy on story, it's more like doing a bunch of quests over and over again, grinding for better gear and stuff. If you're into that, then this game is for you. If you want more something a bit more story driven, like Tales of Arise, for example, you might be disappointed. It's mostly doing a bunch of quests over and over again, just getting mats for better shit. That's basically it. But it's a good loop because it's fun to play, and it doesn't get too tiring. I like that they made the characters feel fairly different from each other. Trying to see what else. Overall, as I said, there's my main issue with this game is just a few quality of life stuff. As I said before, there's a lot that the game doesn't really explain. A big thing for me, for example, is every boss at a higher difficulty has like a unique item that they drop, but eventually they'll just stop, and then they'll start dropping them again after like a day. And I don't think the game tells you about it to explain how it works. It just does. That's kind of a bit of a downer because at least the app limits you to like doing. You can only do with certain rates, certain amounts of times per day. Here you can always replay them, but they stop dropping certain stuff eventually, and it's rather quick. I don't really get that. It's really strange. I think the story and overall bosses, of course, are good in terms of variation. They have a few gimmicks here and there, and it keeps the gameplay fresh. That's why I like that the main story isn't that long. Because they knew it's not about exploring a big open world or anything like that. It's just going on a bunch of quests on mostly the same maps, with a few variation of enemies. They've also imported a lot of enemies from the main game. Although I think they should have focused on more fan favorite ones, because who really cares about like the elemental dragons that you had to do? Those that were in a weekly rotation back in the day. Like, did we really need to see a big epic version of those? Why not the Six Dragons, for example, or Belial, Beelzebub, things that fans actually care about? Maybe they'll update it later. Probably not, but because it takes a lot more effort to put things in a 3D game than 2D. Now that said, the most important part is that it's fun to play. It really is. You can do mind-numbing leads and just mash square over and over again. You can just try to learn exactly what the character does, experiment with a bunch of team comps, skills, etc. It's fun to try, but it takes a little while to like really get started because you need to grind a lot. You can't just swap characters because as they all need to upgrade their gear, get them to level 100, etc. But I think overall it should be fairly intuitive for newcomers, like understanding the basics of it. I do really recommend this game. As the title says, it's really damn good. It's almost amazing. It just misses a few touches that makes it great. Like communicating to the player. That's honestly the only really big one I found thus far. I hope that they do keep updating it, add more bosses or stuff like that. Even if it's paid DLC, I wouldn't really mind it. Because I hope this game has a future. It seems to be a decent hit, and I'm happy for that. So, in conclusion, if you don't mind a bit of grinding and doing a bunch of quests over again, then this game is definitely for you. Definitely try out all the different characters. They're really fun and have good variation in them. Overall, solid recommend, but a few quality of life things held it back from being truly amazing. I hope they update it and keep improving it. And if you want to see me stream it on Twitch, go hit me up. I'm gonna be doing that for a little bit. But to be perfectly honest, I think I'm starting to get a little tired of it. The content is only that much. Because once you played all the bosses over and over again, it's one of those games you're supposed to play it for playing it, for the sake of playing it. That's basically all I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching. See you on Twitch, hopefully.